The Krell armada emerged from hyperspace like a swarm of metallic locusts, their warships blotting out the stars above Europa Station. Commander Sarachin watched from the observation deck as their vessels moved into attack formation, their intent unmistakable. "They're powering weapons," Lieutenant Torres reported, his voice tight with fear. "Multiple targeting locks on the civilian sectors." Sarah's jaw clenched. Europa Station housed 12,000 souls, miners, scientists, families. The Krell had ignored every hailing frequency, every diplomatic channel. After 3 years of tense peace following the border wars, they had returned with fire in their eyes. The first plasma bolt struck the eastern habitat ring. The shield held, but barely. Alarms shrieked through the station as the second and third shots followed, each one weakening their defenses. Sarah could see the fear in her crew's faces. They all remembered what happened at Titan Colony. "Return fire," she ordered. "All defensive batteries, engage at will." Their railguns spat tungsten rounds at relativistic speeds, but the Krell shields absorbed them like rain on steel. The enemy had upgraded their technology. Humanity's standard weapons were obsolete. Then Sarah remembered. Deep in Europa Station's core, buried beneath kilometers of ice and rock, sat Project Lgininus, a prototype weapon that had been deemed too dangerous, too unpredictable. A magnetic accelerator cannon that could theoretically punch through any known shielding, powered by the station's entire fusion reactor output. The cost of firing it would leave them defenseless and drifting, but right now, they were dying anyway. "Evacuate all personnel from sections J through M," Sarah commanded. "Reroute all power to the core." Torres stared at her. "Commander, that's..." "I know what it is, Lieutenant." "Do it." The station groaned as systems shut down across all decks. Life support switched to emergency reserves. The lights dimmed to crimson emergency strips. Every watt of power flowed downward, toward the massive railgun that stretched nearly 2 kilometers through the station's spine. The Krell must have sensed something changing. Their assault intensified, plasma bolts hammering the weakening shields. Hull breaches erupted across 3 sectors. Sarah watched the casualty reports climb, 50 dead, then 80, then more. "Lgininus charging," Torres reported. 60%, 70%. Another Krell volley tore through the northern docking bay. The explosion sent vibrations through the deck plating. Sarah gripped the railing, her knuckles white. They needed 30 more seconds. 90%, charged and locked. Sarah didn't hesitate. Fire. The universe held its breath. Then the railgun spoke. The electromagnetic roar was felt rather than heard, a deep thrumming that resonated in bone and steel. The tungsten carbide projectile, no larger than a coffin, accelerated to 3% light speed in the span of 2 heartbeats. It crossed the distance to the lead Krell dreadnought in 0.8 seconds. The projectile struck the Krell flagship amidships with the kinetic energy of a small nuclear weapon. The alien shields flared brilliant white for an instant before collapsing entirely. The round didn't just penetrate the hull, it vaporized everything in its path, the sheer friction of its passage through matter creating a column of superheated plasma. The dreadnought came apart like wet paper, splitting into 3 massive sections that tumbled away in different directions. The remaining Krell vessels froze, their formation scattering in disarray. Sarah opened a channel, broadcasting on all Krell frequencies. Her voice was ice. "You fired on humans. We warned you what would happen. Leave now, or the next round goes through your entire fleet." It was a bluff. Europa Station was completely drained, the railgun requiring hours to recharge, but the Krell didn't know that. They couldn't have known that humanity had just fired its only shot. For 10 eternal seconds, nothing happened. Then, one by one, the Krell warships turned away. Their drives flared bright as they retreated into hyperspace, leaving only debris and silence behind. Sarah collapsed into her chair, exhaustion washing over her. Torres approached hesitantly. Commander, casualty reports are. I know, Lieutenant, she said quietly, looking out at the stars. Get rescue teams to the damaged sectors. And someone get engineering to start bringing systems back online. As the crew rushed to save the wounded and repair the station, Sarah remained at the window. They had survived, but the cost was high. And now the galaxy knew what humanity was capable of when pushed to the brink. She just hoped they wouldn't have to prove it again.